A Letter to My Teacher, written by Deborah Hopkinson, and the pictures are by Nancy Carpenter. Dear teacher, whenever I had something to tell you, I tugged on your shirt and I whispered in your ear. This time, I'm writing you a letter. I hope you remember me. I was the one who marched to school that first day, splashing through every puddle I could find. I wore a bright yellow raincoat and a dark, stormy frown. Because for me, school meant sitting still and listening, two things I wasn't much good at. I stood there, ornery and dripping, just sure I'd get in trouble. But instead you grinned at me. Good morning, look at you standing there like Mary Kingsley, just back from canoeing up the Ogallala River. Who? I said. Where? Mary Kingsley, the fearless explorer, you explained. Someday we'll read about her and crocodiles. Now go get the mop. Crocodiles. After taking attendance, you made a big announcement. Welcome. This year we'll be planting the first ever second grade garden. It will be our great experiment. Yay, we get to dig in the mud, I shouted. True, but first we read about plants, you said. We'll use math to measure our plot and we'll write in our garden plan. Reading? Math? Writing? I was better at running and jumping. The next week we visited a creek behind the school to learn about plants and water. When you weren't watching, I started to hop through the rocks. Right in the middle of the creek, I got stuck. Look at me! I'm Mary What's-Her-Name, I hollered, trying to sound brave. Watch out for crocodiles, you yelled back, and you rushed out to rescue me. On the way back, you held my hand, and you never told anybody how much I was shaking. All fall, I tried hard to sit still. Right before Thanksgiving, you asked who wanted to take home the Mouse Brothers. Me! Pick me! I shouted. But while I was busy eating turkey, my cat Lucy ate one of the brothers. I bought a replacement mouse, except I just couldn't tell you. One day, when you were cleaning the cage, you called me over to your desk and you said that we might have to change the brothers' names to Ma and Pa Mouse. You knew the whole time, I said. Laughing, she said you might as well get used to it. Teachers see everything. When winter came, our reading corner became a secret garden of stories. On Friday afternoons, we all curled up in a big heap to listen, just like our new litter of mice. I loved it when you would read to us, and I always begged for more. But I hated being called on to read out loud. I kept tripping over my words. Once, right before my turn, I yelled, "Raise your hand if you want to go home." Another time, I clutched my throat and I croaked, "Uh-oh, I've lost my voice." Nothing fooled you, though. You called me back to your desk and you asked, when we make our garden, do you think the seeds will all grow right away? No, I said. Everyone knows they need time and sun and water. Well, learning to read takes time too, you said. Now, I think you have a cat. I nodded. Yeah, Lucy, the one who likes mice. I'd like for you to read to Lucy every day, you suggested. It might help keep her out of trouble. I giggled. Maybe I'll read Puss in Boots. I practiced hard, and you gave me extra help too. One day, you brought me a special book. I met a real author, and he autographed it just for you, you said. I looked at the cover and sounded out the words. Wow, it's about her, that explorer, Mary Kingsley. You smiled back. Next week, you can share it with the class. In March, we explored our town. We went on a field trip to an old house. It was full of history and secret stairways. When I slipped away to look for hidden treasure in the root cellar, you and the whole class had to trudge down the old stone steps to find me. I think even you lost your patience that time. Exasperating was the word you used. I remember because that night my mom helped me look it up in the dictionary. The day you brought the seeds for us to choose, I tugged on your shirt. Can we plant this kind? The packet says early spring. We can have bright red radishes, and in just a few weeks. Good reading and great idea, you said. Thanks to the math games we played, measuring our garden was easy. At last, we turned over the soil, and we were ready to plant. I was the radish crew chief. And I read the instructions all by myself. All spring we weeded and watered, and we kept garden journals too. On the Friday before summer vacation, we wrote out invitations to every class to come and enjoy the salad that we had grown by ourselves. Splendid spinach, said the principal. It's because of the worms, I explained. I didn't know how to say thank you. So on that last day, I gave you a present, a memory quilt. I measured the squares on paper, and I made a story of our year in each one. The reading corner, worms in our compost, the magnificent mouse family, and best of all, a picture of you and me. You looked at that quilt for a long time. Then you held it up for everyone to see. Thank you. Now, I'll never forget you all. And the year of the second grade garden. Me neither, I promised, and I never have. For a long time now, I've been wanting to write to tell you that even though I didn't always listen, and I know I was exasperating, second grade really was the best year ever. So I guess you won't be too surprised to hear that I still like stomping through creeks, digging in the garden, and even read out loud to my cat. Most of all, I wanted to tell you that I'm about to start my first job, and tomorrow morning when I go to work, I think about everything you helped me explore, and I'll try my best to be just like you. Thank you for being my teacher, your student.